All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Chaos Zero Nightmare video. Today, I wanted to go ahead and talk about how to properly prepare for your Yuki. You want to make sure you're starting the preparation now. She's going to be dropping in the next couple of days. So I wanted to go ahead and provide you this video, let you know what I'm doing. And if you want to imitate or emulate, you certainly can. Hopefully this video brings you some value. If you enjoy videos like this, drop a like, sub if you're new, join the FPG fam. Would love to have you stick around. Thank you so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. And if you're hyped for Yuki, once again, go ahead and sub. I'm hoping to be able to go live for the polls for Yuki and then be able to do some gameplay, build her up, showcase her. Should be a really good time. So make sure you have notifications on, hit the hype button, all that good stuff. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop in. I'm going to try and be very straight to the point, very concise, and not draw this out. First and foremost, you want to make sure you have all your growth materials. Start farming this combatant level up materials, partner level up materials, especially if you plan on getting her partner, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Make sure you have these ready to go so that way you can level her up all the way, depending on where you're at, your account level, you know, get her to 50 or 60. Now, the next thing you want to go ahead and make sure you have in order is the combatant promotional material for Striker, because she is a Striker unit. So make sure you're farming this one. For the partner, of course, the Striker partner, that's the one you're going to be putting on her. And then for potential, of course, the order potential, because she is an order unit. Now, in terms of prioritizing which one to go for first, me personally, I am doing the potential because it takes a lot of potential materials and I want to make sure I can max it out the best I can, so that way I can get the most benefits from her. So me personally, I'm doing potential, and almost simultaneously I'm doing the combatant material as well. I am max refreshing, keep that in mind. So I'm doing about 3 or 4 runs here and about 3 or 4 runs here just to kind of even it out a little bit, because I want to make sure I can level her up, but I want the potential max out. So that is one that I'm doing personally, but you could definitely do whatever you want to do. That is just my suggestion. Now, when it comes to memory fragments, there's several different sets that you can put on her. Of course, we have the order set. I think she'll be able to utilize this very well with the 4 set. And then you can do a 2 set of the Blackwing for the 12% attack, or the 2 set Executioner for the 25% crit damage. Completely up to you. What I'm going to be doing personally is the 4 set here. Most likely, I'm going to probably test a few out if I can with resources. But I'm kind of leaning towards this one because for me personally, it's going to be more beneficial to farm this one, because then I can use the other sets for the, you know, other combatants. So it's just more beneficial. But 4 set, 35% crit damage of 1 cost cards. A lot of her cards are 0 or 1 cost, so I'm sure we're going to be able to utilize that pretty well. And then depending on what I have better equipment of, I'm going to do the 12% with the Blackwing or the Executioner once again for the 25% crit damage. I'm kind of leaning towards this one because I do want her to crit, but with the 4 set already having that much crit damage, I might lean towards the Blackwing. Now, you could do a 2-2-2 if you want to. I don't know if it's going to be the most beneficial, but you could do 12 Blackwing, 2 Blackwing, 2 Blackwing, 2 Scarab, 2 Executioner. Completely up to you. But I think the best is going to be the order, and one of these two, probably the Executioner or the 4 set with the crit damage. Once again, completely up to you. All right, so massive shout out to Pridewin. I'll have this linked in the description down below. But when talking about partners for Yuki, we do have the 5 stars here. Now, of course, Westmacott, which is going to be the new 5-star partner that's going to be coming out with Yuki, is obviously going to be her best in slot, just because of Yuki's mechanic with the inspirations. Very similar to Rin. When she draws a card with one of her abilities, or if a card of hers is drawn in with an ability or a skill card, an upgrade card, something of that nature, she gets additional effects on her cards. So it's very similar to like Rin's. That's why they call her AoE Rin. So with Westmacott, you have attack cards of the assigned combatant drawn by their ability and have their damage increased by 50% for 1 turn. I believe this is maxed out, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, because that's nutty. And then damage amount of cards with the assigned combatant's inspiration increases by 20%. Once again, this is very specific for Yuki. So that's why this is going to be best in slot for her. But let's say, for example, you're not going to be able to go for her. I think Scarlet's going to be a decent 5-star as well. If the card used immediately before was from the assigned combatant, 15% attack card damage stacks up to 2 times, and it is removed if another combatant's card is used. I think Scarlet is going to be the one to go for over Priscilla. The assigned combatant's HP and damage are increased by 8%, 25% damage dealt by the assigned combatant to targets in break state. I like Scarlet better, right? And then the other 2 I think are negligible. But what's very interesting is like the 4-star, like Lillian, is actually going to be pretty good. The assigned commands attack cards with the cost of 1 or less deal 10% damage. Essentially, that's all of Yuki's attack cards. And then when the inside combatant uses a skill card, 10% attack card damage for 1 turn, stacks up to 3 times. That's something that you're going to be utilizing anyways, once again, for the inspiration mechanic. So I think Lillian is actually going to be very good, sneaky good. And you may have a few copies, so you can ego that out a little bit, right? So this is going to be pretty good. I think Lillian's going to be solid. Richoka, the inside combatant's attack cards with the cost of 2 or more. Like, I just don't think that's going to be too beneficial, right? Of course, epiphanies can change the cost of the card, but there are a few occasions to where the additional effects from the inspiration reduces the attack card's AP cost. So you're still going to be like 1 or 0, right? So I think this Lillian is going to be actually a really, really good option, especially for free to play. So you don't necessarily have to go for a partner card, but obviously it's going to be the best in slot, right? But if you have Scarlet, you could definitely slap Scarlet on. If you don't have any 5 stars, Lillian's going to be solid. I think Lillian's going to be great. Now, when it comes to teams, I think Yuki has several different options. I think there are going to be some that are better than others, of course, right? They showcase a few. Yuki, Nia, Cassius. This combo is going to be good once again because Yuki's inspiration mechanic is centered around drawing her cards. Nia and Cassius allows her to do that. I think Nia is going to be essentially like her best partner because Nia is going to allow her to draw cards, shuffle the deck, but also allow her to do additional attacks. So I think that's going to be very beneficial for Yuki because she's AoE. Getting an additional attacks on the AoE is going to be really nice. So I think Nia's going to be the best partner. Cassie's once again for drawing the cards, shuffling the deck, questing. That's all going to be really good, and him being able to do some decent damage himself. So that team of Cassius, Nia, and Yuki's going to be solid. I'm actually in the process of getting my Nia built up. I got Cassius and Nia late, so resources were limited. I'm hoping to be able to get Nia built up. It's just the resources, once again, I'm trying to hoard them for Yuki. It's very tough. But I think that's going to be a pretty good team right there. Now, the other team combo that I'm thinking about personally is Yuki, Lucas, Nia. Lucas, because of the AoE for the debuffing, he does some decent damage himself. So I think he's going to be a very nice pairing with Yuki because Yuki AoE, being able to draw some cards as well is going to be very nice. So I think that team is going to cook also. I think that's going to be a pretty decent one. The other one I'm leaning towards is Yuki, Veronica. I think Yuki, Veronica, Nia is going to be a solid team as well. Because of Veronica's ballista mechanic, being able to just allow her to be a passive damage dealer. She's able to draw cards as well. So I think Veronica is going to be a pretty solid choice there also. Of course, Mika is universal. Mika is always going to be beneficial. But because of how AP efficient Yuki is, Mika's always going to be solid, right? The healing's always going to be good. She's always going to be beneficial. But I think, like, for example, for Dimensional Twilight and Basin, you could put Mika on the other team and have Nia on that team, right? Barrel's going to be another one. I think they showcase Barrel because she can just retain the cards and then be able to pop them off at some point in time. So I think Barrel's going to be good. The other one that I was thinking of as well is Amir. Once again, attribute synergy, but Amir has some decent AoE, can do some good damage herself, provide some shielding with their ego skill, damage reduction, right? So I think Amir might be pretty solid with Nia. And keep in mind, I'm just having Nia in each and every one of these because I think Nia's going to be like her best partner. So I got Nia in each and every one of these with the second person. But once again, I think there's several different teams. I think Ray might be sneaky good because increasing the damage of basic attack cards and then increasing the damage of 1-cost cards. I think, and then Ray being able to do some pretty decent damage herself. Ray might be a good option with Nia and Yuki you could look into. And then the last one that I can mention might be a little bit of a sleeper pick, and that's Hugo. Once again, really Hugo for the attribute synergy, but also the additional attacks to follow up. Now, I understand it's single target and Yuki's AoE, but I think that's where the benefit comes into play, right? Because Yuki can do the AoE and then Hugo can, you know, target a specific character. So I think that might work out as well. But that is really what I'm thinking for the team build. Several different options that you can go with. I think it's once again going to be very dependent on your account and what you have, and you could look at building a team there and maybe just test some different teams and play around with some different teams and see what you can put together from that. But I think those are going to be essentially the best options that you can go for when it comes to Yuki teams. But anyways, I think that's just about everything that I wanted to go over when it came to preparing for Yuki and making sure you're ready to go. I'm not sure if I missed anything. If I did, let me know in the comments down below. I think I might have gotten everything, but who knows, I might have missed something. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for all the support, and I'll see you all in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody. Call me further. I'll see you all next one. Bye guys.